It is commonly accepted that Zuko's redemption arc is the best that there is, and there are a lot of theories as to what makes it so universally loved. There are plenty of videos and articles out there talking about the stages of redemption arcs and the gratifying slow burn of a villain turned hero. These are incredible sources, and I encourage you to read and watch as many as you want. However, most of these sources tend to ignore a very important aspect of redemption arcs, which is the audience's reception. It doesn't matter how long it took for a villain to redeem themselves or the stages that they went through, as long as the audience does not agree with that transition. The audience's positive reception of a villain's redemption arc is pivotal for its success. Which is why we're going to focus on the elements that guaranteed Zuko's redemption arc would be loved by the show's audience. More specifically, we're going to talk about how Zuko was never the main villain and how Iroh's presence manipulated the audience's perception of Zuko. That being said, let's begin. Despite being introduced as the villain of the story, Zuko's role as the primary antagonistic force does not last long. After the first 2 episodes are done, Zuko's character development and the introduction of other, worse characters gradually undermine his villainous nature. The 3rd episode introduces Commander Zhao. As an official member of the Fire Nation's navy, Zhao is quickly seen to be more ruthless and unkind than Zuko. The two immediately develop a rivalry, as Zhao's goal of retrieving the Avatar is an obstacle to Zuko, who wishes to capture Aang in order to regain his honor. This rivalry escalates when Zhao insults the banished prince of the Fire Nation, leading to an Agni Kai from which Zuko emerges victorious. Despite his victory and his anger towards Zhao, Zuko refuses to kill him, letting him live despite the traditions and culture of the Fire Nation. This is incredibly important. Seeing Zuko spare Zhao, despite his anger and upbringing, serves to humanize our supposed antagonist. This trend of accidental or implied humanization and sympathy continues for the rest of Book 1. A good example of this would be the Blue Spirit, where Aang is captured and imprisoned by Zhao, who is now an admiral. In an unexpected turn of events, Aang is rescued by a masked Zuko. Despite the fact that Zuko's rescue was entirely selfish in nature, it serves to humanize the character in the eyes of the audience. As Book 1 proceeds to unfold, Zhao remains the biggest threat to Aang and his friends. Even during the Siege of the North, Zuko is not the main assailant. While he may be the one to capture the Avatar, the devastating siege of the Northern Water Tribe is caused by Zhao and his fleet. It is during this episode that Zhao and Zuko have their final confrontation. Once more, Zuko defeats Zhao and shows him mercy, attempting to rescue the man that had ordered his assassination. Book 2 introduces Azula, the heir to the Fire Nation throne and Zuko's sister. Compared to Zuko, Azula is cunning, cruel, and volatile. She doesn't care for her crew, threatening to kill them when they advise against proceeding with one of her plans. Comparably, episodes like The Storm show us that Zuko values his crew, saving his crew members as opposed to threatening them. As soon as Azula is introduced, Zuko is further removed from the antagonistic force that is the Fire Nation. Not only do we get a more unscrupulous villain in Azula, but we also further separate Zuko from the Fire Nation, as the Fire Prince and his uncle become fugitives. Seeing Zuko's struggles makes the audience sympathize with the character. For the rest of Book 2, Azula remains the main antagonist. When it comes to Zuko, this chapter refuses to portray him as a villain, instead portraying the character as a man on a journey. We get to witness Zuko's character removed from the Fire Nation, seeing his kindness and development. This new Zuko fights against Azula and even rescues Appa, being conflicted when he's given the opportunity to help his sister capture the Avatar. Then we have Book 3, which cements Zuko's position as a protagonist and counterpart to Aang as opposed to his initial allegiances. This chapter introduces the very embodiment of the Fire Nation threat, Fire Lord Ozai. He is the biggest and worst villain of them all, personifying the threat against the Avatar and everything he stands for. Surrounded by Ozai and Azula, characters that revel in causing pain and suffering, the uncertain Zuko appears a lot less villainous. His uncertainty eventually leads him to finding his destiny, teaching Aang firebending and helping him defeat his father. Finally, Zuko defeats Azula and reforms the Fire Nation. By the end of the series, Zuko's metamorphosis from villain to hero is complete, having gradually earned his redemption. If the main antagonistic force is the Fire Nation and everything it stands for, Zuko could have never truly been the main villain. After all, Zuko had been banished from his home country, an aspect that the show consistently emphasized, while also introducing increasingly cruel members that officially belonged to the Fire Nation. When compared to the likes of Zhao, Azula, and Ozai, Zuko's character could have never been perceived as villainous. The audience's positive response to Zuko's redemption would not have been possible without Iroh's presence. As a minor but very important point, we need to talk about Iroh, who serves as a constant reminder that the Fire Nation isn't universally evil. Had Iroh not existed as a character or been by Zuko's side for the duration of the series, the audience would have felt far less positive about Zuko. While Zuko is angry and rash for most of the show, Iroh's character is the opposite of that. He's calm and tempered, acting as the voice of reason and empathy. By placing Iroh and Zuko together, the series ensures that the audience associates some positive emotions with Zuko's character. After all, Iroh is Zuko's guardian and mentor, guiding him towards his benevolent destiny. He teaches him kindness and patience, urging him to look inside and forge his own destiny. Despite the two parting ways, then being on opposite sides of the war, Iroh's teachings stay with Zuko, leading him to his inevitable redemption. So there we have it. By surrounding Zuko with his gentle and caring uncle, Avatar ensured that the audience always associated some positive emotions with Zuko's character. These positive emotions were further amplified as the series progressed, putting Zuko in conflict with more threatening and villainous characters, while also allowing him to show kindness and mercy. Had Iroh not surrounded Zuko, the character would have been seen as an angry and hateful teenager. Had the banished prince not been in conflict with official members of the Fire Nation, who were also more hateful and malicious than he was, the audience would have perceived Zuko as the worst villain the Avatar series could have ever had. It is through these two pivotal elements that Zuko's redemption arc gained the approval of the audience, providing a satisfying arc to a beloved character. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Do you think Zuko's character was redeemed? Did we miss any other factors that led to his iconic redemption arc? Or maybe you have other redemption arcs that you would like to talk about? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, thank you for watching, keep writing. Hey, you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment and subscribe, it helps the channel more than you know. If you are interested in supporting the channel in any other way, we also have a Patreon. For the price of a cup of coffee a month, you can support the content we create and even be included in our videos. It's pretty cool, so give it a look.